This is my repository. Created my GitHub account. So this is my user ID. So if you need to see the following details, so on the right hand side you can see your profile and other information. Like you can click on your profile and it will jump into the things that we have, like the repository name that we have created so far. So as of now, in my GitHub account, I have already one repository, and the name of the repository is git underscore tutorial. And if I click on that part, we can simply see that particular repository git tutorial, and we have few files. Okay, now let's see how we can do the, so this is the remote part. So now when we are going to do the cloning part, means we are going to clone the entire repository in the local system. So we can do the changes and we can push those changes in the remote repository, that is the GitHub account. So if you want to clone any repository, so just need to go on this particular code part. So we have different options to clone. So for example, we are going to clone with HTTPS, which is the very simple and generally recommended for the beginners. So for example, if you are a beginner, so simply copy the link of this URL and just go to the terminal part. So in the terminal part, for example, I can do ls to list out all the files. And let's say, for example, I'm going to create a directory with the name bioinfo repo GitHub. So I'm going to store all the repository within this folder. So I have created, I can move to this particular repository. So let's see, I have created one directory within my local system. Now I'm going to use git clone. So to clone any repository, the command is git clone and providing the URL that we have just copied. Press enter. It is going to connect and clone the entire repository. If you see, we have the git repository folder, and within this particular directory or git repository, we have three files that is exact same content we have on the remote repository. That is readme file, git tutorial, and there is a file .pradeep.py. Okay, so we can see we have the same files. Now let's say if we want to have the changes, so what we can do, let's say for example I want to see the content of the readme file. I am using the vim command, press enter. Now we have three line of content, so I can do the changes. So you can see the same content in the readme file. So we have these three content. Now I'm doing the changes on my local system. So what changes I'm doing? I'm giving this is git tutorial repository. So I'm writing repository. Okay. And this is git and GitHub basic lesson. So to clone the repository, we need to use git clone command. So let's say I have updated this file and the command will be git clone and the repository. So command is given below. So let's say I have updated this file, escape the insert mode, write and save. Now if you see the content of this readme file, so I have updated the file. Okay. Now I can check the status of the my current particular repository that I'm working on. So I can do git status. So now I can see I have couple of things. First thing is like the changes I can see. I have updated the file, but git is need to stage this thing to commit. So before commit, we need to add these changes. So how we can do that? We need to just add git add part. So using git add command, and which file we are going to add, that is the readme file. Now again we are going to check the git status. Now you can see initially it was in red color and the status for this particular thing was changes not staged for commit, means changes are not ready for the commit. If we want to commit any changes, we need to first transform into a level that is the stage level. Now you can see I have added the changes. Now the status is different. Now the status is changes to be committed, means changes are ready to commit. Now we can commit the changes that we have made. So the command is git commit minus m. M is like adding a message. What exactly I did for this particular changes. So I have updated. So I can say update readme file. So the task I have done for this particular thing, like I updated the particular readme file. So I have added a commit message. Press enter. So you can see after having the git commit, we can see one file is changed, and within these files, we made some modifications. So 6 insertion and 3 deletion was there. Okay. Now if you're going to see again the git status thing, now you think there is nothing to commit, means the your branch or working tree is clear, and you already have one commit ahead, means you add the changes, then you commit the changes. Now you just have to push the changes to the remote branch. So remote branch is basically the GitHub thing. So let's say I need to do git push origin main because I'm working in the main branch. Press enter. Now it is asking for the username. So what we have to do, we need to provide the username bioinfo and I need to provide the password. So after giving the username password, I'm getting this error. So basically the problem was, so we have cloned the repository with HTTP. So if you're going to see this particular file, so what exactly it is saying, the error is, so when you git clone, git fetch or git pull or git push to a remote repository using HTTP URL on the command line, so Git will ask for the username and password. That is the same thing. It was asking for the username and password because I was doing using git push for the remote branch. Okay, but the problem is now they have changed the permission thing. Now Git promotes you for the password. Instead of password, they are looking for the personal access token that we need to provide. Okay, you can see one message like support for password authentication was removed in 2021. Means previously we can use to do these stuffs using simple username or password, but now the password option was removed for the HTTP link. Now instead of password we need to provide the token. Okay, so how we can generate the token? To generate the token, so there are very simple process we are going to see one by one. So what you have to do, you just need to go to your icon, that on the right hand side you will see your user ID and you will have all the information. You just need to go to the setting part, click on setting, and in the setting part scroll to the left hand side. At the bottom part you can see a developer setting. Click on developer setting. Then what you have to do, you can see there is an option of personal access token, and within we have two options, fine grained token and classic token. Need to click on classic token, and then we can see need an API token for scripting or testing. So we need to generate a personal access token. How we can generate that? Just click this drop down arrow and we can have the generate new token or generate new classic token. So I can use this thing. So it is asking for some name. So I can say first token. So let's say you can give any name. So I am giving the name of this particular token is first token. Now it is asking for when this token is going to expire. So we have different options. We want to use this token for 7 days, 30 days, 16 days. So I'm going to say no expiration. Or we can set, for example, I want to use it for 60 days. After 60 days, again, if I have to do any git push or any changes from the local to remote repository, I need to again regenerate the token after 60 days. So that we can do. So we can set the expiration part. So the token is going to expire for me in the month of August 22, 2024. Okay. Now we have to select the scope for this particular token, means after using this token, what I want to do. So I can check out all the boxes, means I want to have the access for everything. whatever I want to do, I can simply do with this particular token that we are going to generate. I don't want to have any further blocker for me. So I can simply check out everything because I am working in my repository. So I don't want any further access permission they are looking for. After checking all the boxes we have filled, so what we have to fill, provide a token name, need to select the expiration date, and then what scopes you want to explore with this personal token. So I have checked out all the boxes. Need to click on the generate token part. Now you can see we have generated a token. We can simply copy the token using this option. Now we have copied the token, and also you are seeing one message. Make sure to copy your personal access token now. You won't be able to see it again. Means if you're going to close this particular tab, then you're not able to see this particular token again. Means we need to store it somewhere else. Either you can note down in notebook, or either you can store it in the textpad tab, whatever the information. So basically I used to prefer to keep all other important details in a notes, okay, that I'm generally use. So what I can do, I can paste the token. Okay, now one additional thing I have to do, so I can make a note like hashtag this token is for 60 days. So I can keep in mind like after 60 days this token is going to expire. Okay, now we need to run one command, so we can set this user ID and password thing, so we don't have to again apply user ID password. So there are two options we can do. Either way, when we are going to do again git push, so we can simply provide the username, and for the password case we need to provide the token that we just have copied. Okay, or the second option that we can do is like we can do the modification in this particular command. So what you have to do, in the place of token you need to paste the token. So this is my token. So let me copy the token again, and in place of token I'm going to paste the token @github.com, and we need to provide the username and repository that I am working on. So if I'm going to duplicate this, so it is asking for my personal access password. Okay, now you can see now token is, we don't have, now we can't see the token part. Again, if you are not able to save the token, again you need to regenerate the new token, but I already have the token part in my particular notes folder. So I can simply go to my profile and go to my repository, and I can see my user ID is Bioinformatics and the tutorial or repository is Git tutorial. So I can simply copy this information and then going to this particular node part, I need to change the username and the repository. So I can simply do backspace and paste it. Now we have filled all the information. Now we are going to use the token for which user ID for the Bioinfo and this repository I will have the all the access. Now just need to copy this, and now I'm going to paste it on the terminal and press enter. Okay, after running this command, if I'm going to again do git push, press enter. Now you can see this time I was not getting any error or authentication failed. I have successfully pushed all the local changes to remote GitHub account or remote repository or remote branch. Okay, so now if I'm going to see the content of this file, and I can refresh this file, and if I'm going to see the readme file, so you can see initially we had different line, we had 3 line of content. Now we have updated this readme file, so we can see git tutorial repository, git and github basic lesson. To clone the repository we need to use git clone command is given below, git clone, and this is the url thing. Okay, so this is the way you can update the repository. You want to add any files or anything, so it's good to have a GitHub account and try to maintain using different repository, and you can keep your codes. Okay, so let's say for example I'm going to whatever the things I'm going to teach. So I'll provide the code for the each exercise. So let's say, for example, I want to create a new repository. So let's say I'm going to repository, and here I can say I can create a new repository. So I can say Linux command line. So in this repository, I'm going to provide all the PDF files that I have created for the beginners that you can use to do the learning for which command is used for which purpose. Okay. Now, after giving the repository name, we can provide the description. So this repository will have all the resources to, to start learning basic and advanced Linux command. Okay. Now I'm going to make it public so anyone can see my repository. We can add a readme file. Readme file is just a description of the particular repository. Okay. Now I'm going to create a repository. Okay. Now if you're going to have this Bioinfo wide thing, this particular project, so we have two repository, Git tutorial and Linux command line. So as of now in Linux command line, we only have the readme file. Okay. So let's say, for example, if I want to, let's try to clone it. So what I can do, I can go one directory back and I can clone the second repository, git clone, and paste it. Okay, now only have the, within this particular command, I have the readme file. Okay, now let's say I want to transfer some of the files that I want to paste it. So I can say, so if I have to transfer, so which file I need to transfer, so class recording course content PDF. So let's say I have some questions for Linux module 1 and these two files I need to transfer. So this is within the class recording, and then we have the course content PDF. Okay, so I need to copy these two files. One file is this one, and I need to copy the other file, that is Linux command module 1 PDF. Okay, and where I want to paste it, so I want to have my repository within the Bioinfo course. So I need to go one directory back, then again one directory back, and then we are looking for Linux Bioinfo, GitHub, and Linux command line. Press enter. Now you can see I have added two files within my repository, that is Linux command line. If I'm going to check the git status, now you can see these are the two newly added files. Okay, if you're going to do the modification within the existing files, Git is going to try. But if you're going to add some new files or folders, Git is not going to track until you are going to say, could you please track these files? So in the status part, it is saying these two files you have added, but I'm not going to track it unless you are going to explain. Okay. So what I have to do, I need to use git add and providing the file. So I want to say, for example, adding these two files, enter. Again, if I do git status, now these files are tracked by git and they said changes is ready to commit. So I just need to use git commit -m added. So add Linux resources, and now I can do git push. origin main. Now it is asking for me for the user ID because the things I have set for particular repository. If I have set for the entire user ID thing, so I can access for each new repository. For let's say I need to provide user ID, and if I need to provide the password thing, so what I have to do, now I can do, instead of like now my access for the doing any push thing, I need to provide the username or password, or simply running the same command. Instead of providing the repository, we can keep till the bioinfo byte and we can have the permission for the entire repository, so we don't have to give user ID and password every time. Okay, so now you can see the changes. Now you can see, you can refresh the page. So initially we had only the readme file, now we have two PDF also. Okay, now you can download the PDF and see the content of the PDF file. So you can see this is the content of the PDF file that I have uploaded. Say, so anyone can access the repository and see the content of the file. So this particular PDF file contains the basic command. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe my channel for the further content. Thank you.